This video is brought to you by Mantic Games. Hi and welcome to Gamers Web. My name is Mark, and in this video I'm going to take a look at Worms the board game from Mantic Games and Team 17. This is a game that was launched late last year on Kickstarter and has finally come out, going to backers and available in retail. So let's jump in. Worms is based on a very successful and long-running computer game from Team 17 that goes back to 1995. If you've ever played Worms on a computer, it's a bit harsh. It's a game of one-upmanship. You douche over your friends and your rivals, and it's very funny. And the worms do lots and lots of nasty things to kill each other off. So basically, since 1995, we've had Worms, Worms the Director's Cut, Worms 2, Worms Pinball, Worms Armageddon, Worms World Party, Worms Blast, Worms 3D, Worms Golf, Worms Forts Under Siege, Worms 4 Mayhem, Worms Open Warfare, Worms again in 2007, Worms Open Warfare 2, Worms A Space Oddity, Worms 2 Armageddon, Worms Reloaded, Worms Battle Islands, Worms Ultimate Mayhem, Worms Crazy Golf, Worms Revolution, Worms 3, for some reason, Worms Clan Wars, Worms Battlegrounds, Worms 4, Worms Weapons of Mass Destruction, and then finally in 2020, Worms Rumble. Lots and lots and lots of versions of this game, and it's pretty fun to play. So Mantic have managed to capture the essence of a frenetic computer game and turn it into a miniature game. So let's have a quick look. Sorry, a miniature game, a board game. So let's have a look what we get. Okay, so Worms the board game, a hilarious game of strategy, chance, and exploding sheep. The worms are back, and now they are battling for your tabletop navigation. Tabletop. Navigate the map to collect crates and choose from a selection of classic worms weaponry to defeat your opponents. Sounds easy, right? Just watch out for the indestructible landscapes, wind, water, mines, oil drums, and exploding bananas. Worms is simple to learn and fun to play and challenging to win. Will you be the last invertebrate standing? Contains 16 miniatures, 4 times multi-hex map tiles, 9 water tiles, and a wind dial, 80 cards, 30 counters, and 5 dice. And ages 2 to 4 players, 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, 45 minutes. Sorry, my eyes are watering with my blephitis and I can't see. Right, okay, that's a my eyes watered and white. So let's just quickly jump in and see what we get. Now, I've not actually played the game yet. I will be playing the game today, hopefully, because I'm running the game at Tabletop Scotland this weekend, so I need to learn the rules. But it only arrived on Saturday, and I've not really had the chance to do anything because I've been doing stuff for my family. Okay, right. Let's jump in, just get the camera position right. Right, there we go. Okay, so if I can just slowly take the lid off. There we go. Right, so we get a Mantic Games flyer for Dungeon Saga Origins and Kings of War Ambush. We get our rulebook, which is, I think it's like 28 pages. No, 24 pages for our rulebook, which we'll look through in a moment. We get our tiles, which I will explain how the tiles work. As you can see, they're like all hex-based. This would be quite cool if you did them in 3D. Our water tiles, our land tiles. I don't think they're double-sided. Oh, actually, they are double-sided. I didn't think they were double-sided. All right, our water tiles, which are also double-sided. And then we get our plastics inside here. And the main meat of the game itself. I'm not sure if we get a paper mat in this. No, we don't. In the deluxe version, you get a mat that you can put all your tiles on to keep them all nice and tidy. Okay, so we get lots of different wee beasties. If I can just pick them all out. Right, so we get a wee worm with a hand grenade. These are going to be great to paint up. They're going to be so cool. Then we get a worm with a rifle. Sorry, a missile launcher. I don't know if you can see him. There we go. And we get the worm with the rifle, or the Uzi. And finally, we get a construction worm with a girder. And girders are quite important, because girders allow you to do some pretty crazy things. Okay, so there's 4 of each worm, because you basically, when you start playing, each person has 1 of each on their team. It doesn't matter what they're armed with. They're all armed with the same thing, more or less. That's where these come in handy, so you can differentiate between your team and somebody else's team and not end up killing your own guys. We have these little ringlets, which are quite cool, and all you do is just get a worm and they just slot in like that. So once you've painted your worms up, you can identify what your team is, because all your worms will have the red ring around the base. I'm going to do something similar to this for Halo, because obviously the miniatures in Halo Flashpoint are the same. You get 2 same teams, and what we're going to do with that is I've already 3D printed files for that I'm going to use to allow me to do it. Okay, so you got a reference cards. Let's have a look what we've got in here. We've got our reference card for each player. Then we've got these cards go down, face down, tell you what each thing does. So you've got a mine. The mines, when a worm moves into a mine, you spin the danger flipper. If it's a danger, it destroys. Basically, it's like tossing a coin. Mines move into worms by being blown over or flipped or pushed over with anything, and mine is destroyed. I'll explain what it all does in one moment. Then we've got oil drums, which set fire to things. We've got fire, which sets fire to things. We've got a crater, which makes land unstable. We've got supply crate, which drops weapons. And then we've got water, which replaces hexes, which means that anything that's in that hex drowns. Right, so that's a quick look at those. And we'll move on to the next part. So we get our other plastics. You'll have to forgive me, my chest is quite bad again. We get our supply crates. We get our oil drums, and then finally we get our landmines. So these all go onto your terrain tiles, and the objective of the game is to be the first person to have the last person to have a worm on the battlefield is the objective of the game. We have things that do show over your friends and players, such as you can see, the first one I turned over is a nuclear bomb. I'm going to quickly open this, and then we can have a quick look at some of the cards, and then I'll look through the rules, and we'll get things set up. If I can open it. Right. It's not playing ball with me. I'm going to have to use a knife. Please bear with me a second. Okay, right. So I did manage to get it open finally. Right. So we have different coded things. So I've got nuclear bomb, Armageddon. These are the end game things. Breaking wind, weapons of mass destruction, 1 HP, flood. Those are the end game. So once you get to a certain turn, we use these as our end game, what's going to happen. Then you've got oil drums. These are all for the supply crates, mines, supplies, ×2, ×1. And they're all designated on the back with things like a different colour. And we've got other things like banana bombs, concrete donkey, which is one of the things from the computer game. So this, it goes in the direction of the wind. These icons here tell you whereabouts you place it on the table. You target the X and it scatters the target token and it blasts the hex 3 times. So it will blast 3 X's in a row. So in a quick example, if we place a marker down of where it's going to go. So you place the target down, which is the marker target, and say you place it here and you roll the wind direction, it'll go the direction of the wind and it'll attack 3 X's. So if it goes that way and the wind's blowing in this direction, it will go that way and off and not do any damage. But if it goes this way, it'll go 1, 2, 3 and it'll damage all 3 of those hexes and place one of these crater markers in each X. An X can only hold a set number of crater markers. Some X's have already got damage on them, so they can hold less crater markers. Once it gets too much damage on it with craters, it then flips over and becomes water or hazardous. That's your wind marker. So you got the direction of which way it goes. Okay, and then we also have our equipment, so booby trap, jetpack, lots and lots of things, shotguns, handguns, mines, basketball, which is a baseball bat, which are really, really good, grenades, shotguns, handguns, mines again, girder. So a girder basically pushes something out of your way. So you can remove a mine, a fire, an oil drum, a crater from one X by pushing it into another. Uzis, ninja rope, bazooka, all sorts of crazy goodness there. Right, so let's a quick look at some of the cards. The artwork on the boards is fantastic. It looks very, very fun. And I'm really looking forward to running this weekend. Hopefully I should get a game or 2 in beforehand. But I'm running it for 3 days solid, so I think by the end of 3 days I'll know the rules pretty much inside out. And there we go. Right, and then we'll have a quick look at the tiles again. So the artwork on the tiles is brilliant. I really like it. It's very cool. And there's lots to do with those. So what I'm going to do is just going to quickly pop that back on and put these in here. And then we're going to have a look at the rule book itself. So I shall be right back. Okay, so the rule book, as you can see, it's just a pamphlet rather than a thick, in-depth tome, because it doesn't really need to be. This is going to tell you everything you need to know, all the different ways of playing the game, because there's more than one way of playing the game, and basically introduce you to worms. Okay, so this is, I'm not exactly sure who created the game. It's been edited by Matt Gilbert and it's been designed by River Horse, so I think it's most likely going to be Alessio Calvatore who's done it, who's like one of the best games designers out there and has done some amazing games over the years, from Warhammer right through to Labyrinth and much more. Okay, so contents. What we get 16 worms with 4 times 4 models. We get 6 mines, 6 oil drums, and 6 supply crates. We get the danger flipper, which is the wee happy worm and the gravestone. We get drop cards. We get a wind dial and spinner. We get 4 map tiles, and we get 9 water hexes. We also get our weapons cards, we get our reference cards, and we get our sudden death cards for the end game. Target token, craters, the dice, which I haven't shown you, which I'll show you in a moment, and plastic rings to identify your worms, and 10 fire tokens. Right, so I'm going to very, very quickly show you the dice, because I thought I'd shown those, but of course, being an idiot, I haven't. So I'll just quickly show you the dice and explain how the dice work. Right, so we get a little bag with our dice in it, and the dice are D12s, but they don't all have numbers on them. Some of the faces have other things on them. It's quite easy to work it out. Right, so you've got numbers, you've got a wind direction, you've got a wind direction, you've got a target, which is a hit, and that's it. So your numbers go from 1 to 6, and then you've got, I think it's 3 wind directions and 3 hits on the dice. And you roll them, so say you need a hit to actually do damage to someone, and you've got 3 dice, you roll it, and I rolled a hit and a win token and also a number. It doesn't really matter that I've rolled that or that, I've rolled that. So that's where we go from there, and there's 5 of those dice. Right, so let's crack on. This will explain how things work anyway as we get further on. So you start up with your map. You place the wind the wind dial at the top of the map and on the table, and then work around that. And then you go clockwise and you take it in turns. Each person places a single tile until all the tiles are placed, and you join it wherever you want to. Do whatever edges you want, as long as they all go together, it doesn't matter. Then you get, each person gets 4 worms, 1 oil, 1 mine, 1 supply crate, and these are called things in the game. So you place those at one side, those are yours, and your things are, they're called things for a reason, because each tile can only occupy a maximum of 4 things. Once it gets to 4 things, things start to fall apart quite quickly. So here we've got a tile with 2 in. You've got a worm and a mine. Anything else that enters that tile will make it 3. So if another worm enters that tile, it makes it 3. But obviously if another worm enters that tile, because there's a mine in that tile, that mine will explode, or there's a chance it'll explode, and affect both worms. Or if you've got a girder and you push something into that tile, it could make that explode. If there's 4 of you in there, that's when it starts getting interesting, because that's when it becomes unstable. Okay, you get a starting hand, which you separate the weapon cards out and then shuffle the things into the decks. As you can see here, they've all got different colours on the back of them, and then we deal them out to the players and determine who the first player is. And then how you play, you activate a worm. If a worm is damaged, you can heal it. You can inch by moving 1. You have to say out loud what you're going to do. You're going to inch, which is moving slowly, or you're going to jump. If you jump, you may have a problem, because jumping can allow you to move 2 X's, but it also can cause you to end up in the water, because you might scatter off. And if you go in the water, you drown. Okay, so we've got all the different things about movement: moving yourself, moving another person, moving into a mine, moving into a supply crate. If you move into a supply crate, you get that. Simple as. Then these are different movement examples. So if you move from, say, here to here, and there's a supply crate in that one there, you automatically pick up that supply crate, and the supply crates stay in your hand. I don't know how many cards you can have. I have to root that up. We've got that's an example of the turn. So you select a worm, and then this worm's going to inch, right? Because he's inching, he's accurate. So as you can see, he's rolled a hit, a 2, and the wind direction, which I'm not sure what it's going to give him. I'll have to read through it all, but eliminating the game is when no more worms are left, they're out of the game. When the first player is eliminated, it triggers the end of the game. So that's when you turn over your end game card. So some of the end game cards means that one of them is like the, I'll just show you the end game cards. One of the end game cards is that one. No, it's not that one. You've got the nuclear bomb one. but this one here is 1 HP, which means from now on, when worms are damaged, they're destroyed. And when you drop, you place a supply crate in the emptiest square, change the wind direction. So you roll a d6 and it changes the wind direction. Actually, you roll the d12 and it changes the wind direction. So if you get the hit, it stays in the same direction. Okay. As far as I'm aware on that, anyway. As I say, I've not played the game. I've only seen a playthrough of it on tabletop, which I'll link to in the description. And I'll be doing my own, hopefully. Not this weekend, because I'm too busy at Tabletop Scotland, but maybe next weekend. So you're setting up your first game, generating decks, wind direction. You set the dial to 2, and then give a target token to both players. You can now take example turns as shown on page 12. If you're happy with the rules, keep on playing. Okay, so it shouldn't take very long for you to learn. You've got keywords, which are the keywords on your cards. So accuracy, blast, damage, direction. So it also tells you what happens to the wind. So direction, turn the wind direction needle to point in that direction of the number rolled. Wind direction does not change. Wind direction does not change on those two. So it only changes on a 1 to 6 on the d12. And then blast, damage the thing and then move it 1 hex in the roll direction. Damage the thing and then move it 1 hex in the current wind direction and damage the thing. Okay. So they're quite simple, quite self-explanatory. Keywords and terms. And emptiest basically is when it asks you to place an item in the emptiest hex. It might ask you to place storage crates in the emptiest hex. Basically, you find the hex that's got the least number of things in it and place it in there. And then keywords again, and then you've got airstrikes, which can be pretty devastating because they go in a specific direction, and they can take out a lot of worms in one go. Keywords and then optional rules, and then on the back we have our quick reference for the game. Right, so I'm going to try and get this up before Tabletop Scotland, which is this weekend at the Royal Horticultural Centre in Edinburgh, in Ingliston. It's the place where the Highland Show is normally held, and it's the first time that Tabletop Scotland has been to this venue. I've got a feeling it's going to be massive, because I think it's probably going to be almost as big as UK Games Expo, to be honest. And it's run by a very, very dear friend of mine, David Wright, who is a gent. He's a diamond, and David's done this a few times. This is like the fourth or fifth Tabletop Scotland. So they know what they're doing, and we're expecting large crowds. If you're free and you're able to get up to Scotland and up to Edinburgh, there's still tickets left. As I say, it's a very big venue, and there's board games, role-playing games, tabletop games, war games, all sorts of things going on. Miniature games, lots of different traders. I think there's like 160 different traders going to be there. It's going to be fantastic. And I'm going to be there with Mantic Games. I'm going to be running Worms, and I'm also going to be running Halo Flashpoint. So hopefully, if you can get down, I'll see you there and give you a game. Right, so as always, no matter where you are in the world, look after yourself. Playing games is good fun. It helps us get those endorphins going. It keeps our brains active, and it helps us bond as friends and with friends and family. So why not take some time out your busy schedule and set aside some time to play some games, paint some miniatures, sit and chat with some friends about games. It's always good fun. Right, so as always, I've been Mark. Thank you for tuning in. Many thanks to Tobias at Mantic Games. And no matter where you're in the world, as I already said, look after yourself, and we'll see you soon. Bye.